Welcome back, folks. Chase Valenzuela here. We're back at Millennium Bowl today to look at the brand new 900 Global Sublime Focus. We have a little bit different format for you today. We're going to do some shots with me testing this ball against an Optimum Idol Solid. Then we're going to have my wife Shania bowl, and she's going to test this thing against a Storm Phase 2. So we'll get a couple of different looks today. As you know, I kind of like to hook it. She likes to play it much straighter. She's a little more firmer speed and a little bit less rev rate than I have. So you'll get two distinctly different games here today, and you'll get to get a really good look at this ball sort of all around. As far as the tech stuff goes here, this is the exact same weight block that's in the original Sublime. It's low RG, high differential. We have 904 solid reactive on the cover, so pretty strong formula from 900 Global if you're familiar with how they kind of number those according to strength. I read this thing pretty early, pretty smooth so far. I probably have this a touch earlier and slower than something like a Phase 2 or something like even a Summit Ascent, even though that cover is a little cleaner. I have the Ascent pretty early and pretty straight or smooth or almost slow. This one feels more familiar to the Summit Ascent overall, but maybe a little bit stronger package as far as the cover core combination. I really liked the original Sublime. I found it to be a little bit conditional, but when it matched up, it was really good and kind of a unique shape because it revved up and stayed low and kind of didn't change direction super quick, but also really never missed it front to back. And that's something that I find to be really characteristic of these AI balls, is they tend to get into the hook phase a little earlier and keep their axis a little bit longer, so it creates this really long continuation window that fits my eye really well. And here we are, so first couple of shots with the Optimum Idol Solid. This one does have some games on it, but you'll see right off the bat the Idol is much cleaner and a little bit quicker down the lane. Honestly, not that much quicker. The focus is pretty responsive, and so what that means is whenever it sees friction, it really tends to hook, and whenever it sees oil, it really tends to skid. I have the Optimum a little more smooth and forgiving overall. It doesn't have that same responsive quality necessarily. It does demand a touch more friction though. I think the Focus creates a little bit more of a footprint on the lane, where the Optimum Idol's a little more of kind of a mid ball. Slower and across the lane here as we kind of cheat in, you'll really see the slowness of the Sublime Focus as it tries to exit that oil and still change direction. Overall, the Optimum Idol is probably a touch quicker down lane because it stores a little more energy and doesn't bleed off quite as much as the Focus does from front to back. Overall, I see the Focus as a bit of a step up in our current product line from other symmetrical solid balls across the Storm family of brands, and I really think it's going to be something that I can use whenever those big solid ASIMs are a little too much, but I still need to blend out some sort of a puddle or a cliff. Next up, we have my wife Shania. We are actually on a different pair of lanes because I filmed both the Ion Max and the Sublime Focus before she was able to bowl, and that pair was pretty chewed up. So we're down here on a little bit more oil on 13 and 14. And right off the bat, for her style compared to mine, you'll see that her Focus actually reads a little more quick down the lane. Even when she gets into the oil, it does still tip over a fair bit on the back part of the lane. Overall, she read this thing fairly strong, but 13 and 14 weren't dead fresh when we got to them. It was still kind of some league left over, and so you can see it's really usable, still pushing through the front part of the lane, but really revving up and hitting the mid lane where she's got this really early, smooth shape that overall, again, feels like it's going to be a step up from her other symmetrical solid stuff and kind of be near the top of the product line across the Storm family of brands as far as symmetrical solid balls go. Again, the word that comes to mind is responsive. Now that does mean responsive to both friction and oil, so the ball really hits the friction, changes direction really hard, but it also really skids when it hits the oil and stays on line a little bit longer down the lane. We'll see some shots with the Phase 2 coming up. Overall, TX16 Solid is a little bit weaker overall than 904 Solid, and so you should see that Phase 2 a little cleaner overall. This Phase 2 that she has is drilled really similarly, but also has a few more games on it than the Focus does. But you'll see this one a little bit cleaner rounder, where the Focus kind of revs up and chugs a bit more. Whenever it gets to the spot, it kind of really hits it and changes direction and almost has this really aggressive punch to it. And the Phase 2 is more clean, round, and predictable overall. I think if you're looking for a really aggressive option in that symmetrical solid realm, the Focus really fits that bill. It's a good step up from our other really strong symmetrical solids like the Phase 2 and the Summit Ascent. It's a cool color scheme. Obviously, it rolls good for multiple styles. I really like mine initially. My wife really likes hers initially. She's actually thrown it in league a little bit already and had some pretty good results. This ball is out now, so you can go see your local Storm VIP Pro Shop to pick yours up. It came out September 20th. If you like this format and you want to see more multiple tester style videos like this in the future, leave a comment down below. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. As always, as Shania is wrapping up here, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.